This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in metaquest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The metaquest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code RuffTalkVR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today it's part of our Monday morning news, series where we're talking the latest and greatest in VR.
Insert typewriter noise. Clickety click, 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 clickety click.
We need I know a lot of the majority of our listeners listen on podcasts, but we are on YouTube as well. We have video. It'd be actually kind of fitting if we had new suits on and at least the top, really
Someday.
good. Someday we'll have the teleprompter coming down with our stories. But no, this is just an opportunity for us to just kind of talk the latest and greatest in VR. Like I said, there's been
the current happenings.
Yeah, I don't know the last time.
We're kind of cherry picked.
Yeah,
happenings.
I won't say
There's
that
too much to talk about.
This isn't every single thing that's happened the last couple weeks, and
hand selected.
This episode,
selfishly,
it's possible in the the very short amount of time between recording this episode and it being out tomorrow. For all we know, something big happens in between too. So
hey, not our fault.
The latest and greatest up until now. I say it all the time in VR. I never feel like that there's any shortage of news.
No, if you're willing to stretch outside a particular platform, then yeah, absolutely. Well, there's news every day for sure.
To be honest with you, everything we're going to talk about is on the metaquest.
Go figure.
And all right, I wonder why. And I feel like
there was nothing newsworthy outside of the Oculus. That's what it was.
I feel like that there's any given day you could just go and find 5 to 10 big things that have happened on any week in VR. Things are moving so fast. There's so many new games coming, so many updates.
And what's going to be tomorrow's news for people that hear it is going to be yesterday's news a week later, because there'll be a whole new block of. But no, these are fun to do.
Yeah.
So
the world of VR never stops. So
thank goodness.
Right off the top, there's one that I'm freaking stoked for.
Go for it.
Is a game that I saw. All of a sudden, it started popping up on social media. Started seeing it a lot on Instagram. And they had a Kickstarter start, and I want to give big props to this one. This one's all on board. Anybody who's listened to our podcast, they know we want board games. We never even played Catan in real life, and we had a blast in Catan, let alone if it's going to be any, game that we grew up with and really loved. This is our dream. We need VR board games. And what all on board is, they say that they're going to have 12 licensed games in the game, but there's mods, so you can make your own games as well. So let's say you want to make Yahtzee, they don't have Yahtzee in the game, whatever.
Trademark.
Yeah, whatever the reason, they didn't get that license as part of the 12 licensed games.
Call it Botsy.
Which, as of today, they haven't announced all 12 of the licensed games.
And that was my first question to you.
What are the 12?
What are the 12 licensed games? Because there's probably millions of licensed games, but what are we really talking?
Yeah. And so far, they've announced, it seems, I believe, 6 out of the 12. So
yeah,
I think a big part's going to be what are those other 6 for the license. But like I was saying, if not,
make your own.
Make your own, pretty much. The promo video that they were showing, which is the only thing I have to go off of. It's not like that there's any in-depth dedicated gameplay stuff. But I'll give them credit. The trailer they showed was a lot of gameplay stuff.
It looked like I saw an Uno in there.
Yeah, it looked like Pictionary too.
Yeah, Pictionary.
But it's is that a licensed game or is that a modded one?
You could do Pictionary in one of the office spaces available.
Yeah,
just use the whiteboard.
Yeah, so it's a very simple concept, but it's cool that they even. I don't think that'll be one of the licensed ones. I feel like they're showing off some of the modded content there. Yeah. But the trailer showed off a lot of stuff, and the mods ability in this game seems pretty in depth. They let you use custom characters that you can even design and edit on the computer. It looked like from the the PC. I'm sorry, from the trailer, it looks like you can do it all on the computer. And then it looks like you can do like tabletop, like rules and actions, and if so, then this. And it's
It looks pretty advanced if you want to go that far with it.
If you understand that stuff already, like if you've designed games before or you've done game mods, you'll probably understand it. For me, I probably wouldn't be able to do it.
And they make it seem like there's tens of thousands of different abilities in like this mod library that they have.
Fully see the possibility of like really good games that don't exist and like they're not actual licensed game, but like man, the most popular game is a custom made game or something like that. I could totally see it.
I think if you give people the tools, and there's a lot of people who would, I mean, it might be weird to say board game, but we'll say make a computer board game, but they just lack the tools. But if it's just, I don't know, man. This seems like what they're laying out is
too good to be true.
Yeah, I get that almost. What's the game we
No Man's Sky?
I'll go the No Man's Sky.
It's going to be the No Man's Sky of board games.
I promise you the world, but I'll deliver you which, we had it day one, and I won't knock it because I've stayed with it.
It's come a long way. And
yeah, the
but
reviews
in terms
flip. But yeah, they're promising a lot.
If everything that
and the video you referenced is, graphically,
well, here's the
thing.
It
looks pretty good.
It's going to come out on the MetaQuest and Steam. They're probably showing off PC VR graphics.
I don't care what they're showing. The whole endeavor as a package just seems absolutely ginormous.
It looked like there's customizable avatars, props. I saw a high five gesture, which we're suckers for those little things. So, I mean, this looks like...
If they pull this off, this will be huge.
Yeah, this looks like our dream game because
But I do want to know. I want to know, is there a legit board game that's going to be in those licensed games?
Yeah, are we going to have a Monopoly? Or are we going to have a Life? Or are we going to have one of those big...
Life's the one I'm
yeah, we've been hyping up wanting that for a while.
Because it's, on the board, it was one of the few ones that...
Well, here's the thing. To the world of dedicated board game people, we're filthy casuals. Like, we don't go deep. Yeah, we don't know, like, the real advanced, sophisticated...
You're not a real board gamer.
If people knew that, like, when we list board games, there's probably people who love board games who, like, hear that and they're
the ones we list are the basics. The foundation for you to have this highfalutin board game that I've never heard of because it's so, like, Black Ops,
This game looks like... it has the potential to give me the classics that I've been dying for.
Yeah,
even if they're not licensed.
You can make it yourself?
I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to, but I'll be damned if the world doesn't run amok with crazy, just first things that everybody's going to do is go, here's like the list of most popular games. Let's get those all checked off, and then I'll go start to create my own stuff,
Yeah, I actually have a few ideas kicking in my head.
I think you're going to see like D&D campaigns. If it goes that round, because like, dude, the way that some of the modding was,
it seems
too good to be true.
Again, and I'll reference, and it was just in the video clip, but this, ginormous mod library. But I'm saying ginormous. It looked like there was thousands of.
Well, that's how they were hyping it up. But when you look at the
but
potential,
that's what you're showing me,
But that's how the potential.
Don't show me a Big Mac and I open it and it's chicken.
If the modding features roll out, I mean, just conceptually, that's infinite amount of possibilities. Like.
Could be.
I'm excited to see.
But I want to see what they're going to offer to the purchaser who doesn't, necessarily want to have to mod something in order to play something. And then how good is their ability to find what people have modded. If you technically can't call Monopoly, if you've made it, how do I find it?
Yeah, you need some sort of user rating or you need some sort of...
so
but
that's why
they'll figure it out.
The overall big picture, if they can pump out a ready-to-purchase 12... licensed,
well, that's another thing. I don't know how the business model of this game is going to work. Do you have all the games on buy, which is how I'd prefer to pay more and just have them all right away, or is it going to be you spend $10 now this game's $5, this game's $5?
I know nothing other than I'm excited for it. I want it to, I want them to come through with what they're saying.
Which, hey, I'll be honest. After the game drops, if to get an officially licensed game means a $5 DLC, I understand that. I'm just talking about with, the base, what's included with the game.
What's crazy is the last time I looked at their Kickstarter, it was right before I think you sent me a message to say, hey, they made it.
Oh, yeah, they kicked ass on it.
It looked like the average donor was about $69 if you, took the total.
Yeah, and by the amount of people
So that's a pretty big, that's a pretty big nut. It's not like
they did a great job with incentives of what you get.
Not as many donors as you'd think to get $25,000. I was pretty blown away. I was like, holy crap.
Well, you know what that says to me? We're not the only person
who wants it
on the MetaQuest.
they obviously believed in it.
Right now in VR, there's Tabletop Simulator, which is not a game that's built from the ground up for VR like you would say this one is, or they even advertise that like this game is built from the ground up for VR. Tabletop Simulator was a PC game that got VR support, is not available on the MetaQuest. People have some complaints of clunkiness on, on VR.
I'm not even asking for that. So
well, to me that doesn't affect me at all because guess what? In the end, I don't have PC VR, so if it ain't on the Quest, I'm not experiencing it.
Yeah, it's not going to be in
my library. So the fact that this is coming to the MetaQuest, and as we said, they blew their Kickstarter goal out of the water.
No, they did really well.
They did.
But I think they're biting off a huge amount, and hopefully they can deliver.
I agree with you. The expectations.
They didn't come out with a release date though, did they?
Not that I know of, and that helps my comfort with it. I would not like to see a deadline set on this. I always like to see.
So it could be 2 years from now.
It could.
Or it could be 4.
Or it could be. I mean, on the trailer, it looked like a lot was done, which makes me.
The trailer's very convincing.
The trailer looked polished. It made me go, "How much of this game have you guys already built?" And you could do any of these features that because they did a great job with, like I said, their Kickstarter incentives of what you get as a donor for each tier,
which you're supposed to.
And then also they did a great job with like if we hit this is what we're adding. They've really incentivized it, and like.
No, kudos, and we'll keep an eye out on it, and if something
excited.
moves, we'll let people know.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a day one grab for me, and I'm excited to review it. Give it its time. That's like our dream game, so I had to check that one.
It'll be a day one grab for me if it comes out with a headset I can use, and by the time it comes out, we're on the MetaQuest 4.
I'm so excited.
We'll see.
Do you honestly want to know what my gut says?
But I'm excited.
You know what my gut says?
What?
Game's less than 6 months out of release. That's my gut. I don't know why. It just looks so polished and so done. I don't think that you're going to see this game 2 years.
I don't know.
6 months to a year is what I think.
We'll see.
Maybe even less. Let's see.
They did a kick-ass video, and we're like, here's what it can do.
Whoever ran that trailer, they did a great job.
And that cost $5,000, so for $20,000, we'll make the game.
Well, it's right. They spent
now we'll make it.
Yeah, made our money back on the market.
Who knows? But we'll keep an eye out.
I got worried at the start of the trailer too because it was a real person for like the first 20 seconds.
No, I hate those.
And then I was like, no, they're not gonna. And then it was all gameplay
just show me
from
game
there,
footage,
which they did. So if you start the trailer,
some great games, and they do that in the trailers, and I can't stand it.
Twilight Zone, which we're reviewing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to give any spoilers on the review, but the game was a lot better than the trailer because the trailer didn't really show much of the gameplay at all. It was
which they can't.
I understand why they didn't in that situation because it's so spoilerish. But yeah, no, great job. I'm excited for this one. Next one I want to talk about, we can kind of brush through this one quick. I mean, shame on us for never reviewing Red Matter 1 on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But Red Matter 2 is coming out August 18th now.
I'm hearing nothing but good things, though.
Dude, Chris Pruitt.
Nothing but good things.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Chris Pruitt was on our podcast, and he said, "Hey, Red Matter 1 was amazing graphics, but the developer in Red Matter 2, they've really upped it, and it's even better." And
because they've had all that time since the first one to make it, make things better.
When the head of the content ecosystem is telling you this one's some cutting edge graphics,
looks great.
I have some expectations, so I'm freaking excited for this. So. August 18th is coming up pretty quick. Let's see if we can.
We'll definitely be reviewing that. So
yeah, we'll definitely have to give Red Matter its time in some way, shape, or form. But definitely we'll have to review Red Matter 2 ASAP as well. And then this is probably the one news item that maybe isn't related to MetaQuest. I'm hoping it will be, but an alien game, like not like just outer space aliens. I mean like
the movie franchise.
Yes, Alien. It's funny when they give the breakdown for it because it's like the game set in between Alien and Aliens because the Alien IP has gotten pretty silly.
There's only been like 10 of them. So.
Yeah, they've gotten pretty silly with their naming, so it's funny to just hear it's between Alien and Aliens.
They even had Alien versus Predator, I think.
Alien versus Predator was pretty funny. I remember that as a kid.
Stupid.
I think they even had 2 of them.
You talk about squeezing a rock and getting cash to fall out.
Hey, those verses never work good because like you're doing disservice to somebody. In the end of it,
you're looking at,
and they try their
choked
best
out franchise that's on its last, like, okay, what more can we do? They did the same thing with Friday the 13th.
Yep,
ridiculous
they did Freddy
shit.
versus Jason.
Yeah, it's like, come on, Have you seen much since, you know?
I'm excited to see, I mean, they had a VR mod of an Alien game a while ago, years ago, but it was never official release or anything like that. I'm excited to see an official Aliens game. I think that could be like shit your pants worthy.
It'd be scary.
But they haven't said if it's coming to MetaQuest. All they said is it's coming to console, PC, and VR. What's VR mean? Could that be?
I think it's an open statement so they can go wherever they want.
They want to see where.
But where's the market right now? You know?
Yeah. If in my opinion,
if it was my money, I'd put it where people are buying games.
People know our thoughts. I hope it comes to the MetaQuest. So I'm
if
excited.
it does, but I'm scared to review it because, I mean, and I'll go back to the original Aliens movie. Okay, it was some scary shit,
especially for its time.
And you really didn't see the alien that much at all.
That's what makes
it even scarier.
I think that's what makes a lot of Twilight Zone scary too, is the ambiguity of the setting and everything.
Yeah.
Not exactly knowing. Oh, I'm excited to drop that review on Wednesday.
No, it was a good one.
Twilight Zone was.
So yeah, that's one. We'll pray comes out, but at the same time, I might not cry if it doesn't, because I know I'm gonna go into it and be like, I'm gonna get scared. they're not gonna make this especially if they're bringing it with the purpose of VR, and it's like, yeah, let's really fuck with
you're gonna go face to face. Dying in that game is not gonna be fun.
Unless they corn it out and make it like an arcadey shooter, but I just have a feeling they're just gonna try to scare the crap out of you.
Yeah, and oftentimes with those games,
makes me scared.
I'm such a wuss, and VR is such a different animal. Like, there's some in these games I need to be on party chat. You know, I feel like I handle them better talking live than just like being fully immersed in there. But even on console, these type of games, it's not the jump scares, not the enemies. It's nothing more than just the feel.
Yeah, you're there, man. Like, the sound, the ambience, it all plays that factor. But you pull all those things, the same things in a movie that scare you, you do that in VR, it's just deeper scare.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. If this one just...
I'm excited to review it and not review it.
Yeah.
But we've been saying, too, that we need to do a really scary one.
And that could be it. Just because of I like outer space things. You know,
the scariest they can give me.
Oh, shit.
I mean, there's some titles for flat screen that are...
just ridiculous.
Console, I mean, they're scary shit.
And again, it's all about the environment. All about, it's not always what you see or what exactly.
So if you're scared with that, imagine being in it.
And those are going to come to VR eventually.
Yep. So we'll watch that one first. Makes my hands sweaty.
Yeah, just even thinking about it.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I don't need that alien noise chasing me. And I don't want it to be arcadey. I'd prefer if it was scary.
I would be shocked if they went that route.
Hear the sounds creaking. Hear that thing coming.
I always get a little worried when I hear like it's not VR focused. That's like part of it's got VR. I'm like, oh, let's see.
What if you can be the alien? Travel all faster.
It's possible that VR is only one gameplay mode. They haven't,
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, that's a watch and see more. And now I'm not really like big into a lot of modern music. It's funny how that goes. But anybody who's a Post Malone fan last week, Post Malone had a concert drop on Oculus. I don't think that's really either of our.
Cha-ching.
Nope.
No, I heard actually. I got no disrespect for the guy at all, but I heard nothing but positive things from it. So if anything, if it was a flex of them saying, look what we can do, and we can actually get people who can draw a crowd, then it's a good start, man.
They've had some good concerts so far. So like I said, it's not my cup of tea, but anybody who likes Post Malone, maybe you missed the news. Oculus has been pushing it pretty hard on their social media.
Anytime I've gone into those things, though, I've gotten laggy issues and stuff. So
I think the way they do it is like they try to connect you in with other people and stuff. I think it would be cooler to do a private room.
I think it would be easier.
It would be easier to handle, and then that way it could be like, hey, let's just watch it together, or just who you want. I think.
But anytime I've gone in, it's always been.
Yeah, I don't need the experience with a bunch of people.
But still good for them for pulling that off. And again, I haven't heard anybody say anything negative about it. Said it was a lot of fun. I'll go to more concerts if they're like that.
Yeah, I hope that it's a good direction to go down.
It's a good start.
Yeah. Now this one's huge.
Uh-oh. What do we get?
Drum roll, please. This is one that people have been hyped for a while. In August, Facebook is removing the requirement.
Yeah.
Let me go backwards. Meta is removing the requirement for Facebook accounts to be linked to your Oculus account.
Yes.
So sometime in August, if you choose, you can unlink your Oculus account from your Facebook account. That's something that's been commonly requested for quite a bit. The way it's going to work now, though, is that they're going to have what's known as a meta account for it.
So you create an account.
And I've heard some people go, what's the difference between that
Doesn't get you on Facebook.
One's not a social media account. It's like it's unlinking social media from your Oculus account, which one could argue if that ever really should have.
Watch how many people get upset about it. How dare they?
Yeah, hey, why can't
dare they give that? I didn't have that option 2 years ago.
I know.
Dirt bags.
Look, it's going to be something. I think this is good. They're still leaving you the ability if you want to keep yours linked.
No, the big complaint people had was they want Big Brother Facebook watching them, and they don't want to be forced to have a Facebook account.
Which I can understand. That's when I understand it.
And I guess from a legality standpoint, one could argue by making you have the Facebook account, you've kind of already said that you're an adult or you're of age. Maybe, I don't know what the reasoning. I don't even care, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to make it so my account doesn't have to be linked. I'm going to keep it the way it is. I actually like it that way. It's less shit to have to remember. I mean, how many passwords does somebody have to have in their life in different accounts? So I don't think I cried about it when I even had gotten a headset. I'm like, all right, well, this is cool because I already have an account, so I don't have to do anything special.
Nope. So that's a commonly requested feature that's checked off.
But again, I'm actually not upset that.
No, I'll probably keep mine linked. It is what it is.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna.
I was never upset to begin with, but I didn't. I guess if I never had a Facebook account, I might have been like, hey, what the hell?
Or like, there's been people who've been banned from Facebook, which, we'll...
Well,
but
do you want them on your account?
But they get... Well, I can understand somebody saying you getting banned from Facebook shouldn't mean you lose your library of games, which is what would happen. You get banned from Facebook, you don't have your games anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
So I can understand it. But I think it's a very clear distinction of what the difference between a Meta account and a Facebook account is, too. It's like...
I think the same thing's with Steam, though, isn't it? If you get banned on Steam, for using hack programs and shit.
I imagine. I don't know the technicality of it.
I don't know if it's just the game or the whole
big
setup.
difference between getting banned for what you do in a game versus banned for what you post online on a social media account.
Yeah.
Those are kind of...
And vice versa.
So I think it's just a good update. It's
so
cool.
Do they ban you? I'm just curious. If you're in-game and you act a fool and you get banned, which has happened, do you lose your Facebook account?
That's a good question. I don't think they vice versa.
Right?
Right?
So your behavior on Facebook, though, can cost you your Oculus account, but your behavior on Oculus will only cost you your Oculus account.
Well, and I think what they ran into...
I'm not going to test this theory.
No. Well, what's good is that
Heard
they listen...
funny stories of people.
They listen to customer feedback. So that was commonly requested.
Yeah, no, it was a good move on their part.
You follow the Oculus forums and stuff, and you could see that, what happens in the meeting rooms and what actually gets executed are very different. And you could see the logistical trouble that they would even happen where somebody would contact Oculus support and be like, hey, my Facebook account got banned. And on their end, they're like, we're limited what we can do because it's a different department. It's Facebook accounts that it's... So what sounded even easy maybe on their end in theory, I think even executing, they probably weren't too happy with the result of it, even on their end, besides customer feedback.
They just did what they had to do so they could be in control.
It was an experiment. They tried something.
But they've evolved and they listened, and here we are.
I think you don't get
coming up in August.
You don't get to be where they are in VR without taking chances. And like not everything is a home run. So it's like they tried something, it wasn't the best. Okay, now try.
No, but it got them started.
Yeah, so it is what it is. It's cool that they listen to that stuff, and I'm glad that now there's going to be the band account. I probably won't unlink mine, but it's cool that for those that
I'm just lazy with it, and it's easier because I've had it like this so long, and I feel like it's mine because it's linked to me in my social media account. I just
can't wait till I see somebody post that I miss when I used to just be able to easily share from Oculus to my Facebook, and then someone's gonna be like, did you unlink your account? And they're gonna go, so yeah. It's like, do you want your cake and eat it too? I already know that there's gonna be people who unlink their account, and they're like, they missed the benefits of having it linked, Yeah. So that is what it is, but cool to see that coming. Now something big that I'm excited about, you're gonna hear us talk a lot about licensing and things like that on Wednesday's episode with Twilight Zone VR, obviously, but talk about licensing. Walkabout's Labyrinth course is dropping July 28th.
That's a big one.
And on top of that, it's getting 8-player support.
Which is even bigger,
literally. I mean, it's
a lot of players.
Yeah, I mean, the other day I played some Walkabout with some of the listeners of the podcast, and, it was a 4-person game, even a four-person game, not like it's an uncomfortable or an obnoxious amount of time, but it's not like you blow through it in 10 minutes by any means. An 8-person game is going to be fun. That's like a marathon, you know?
You'll have your fun cut out for you.
Yeah, but I mean, there's been times where we go to schedule games and, you know, it's like, oh, we're at 5 people, no more can join. But like maybe there's one more that does want to join. So
yeah, and you don't have to have all 8. You can just have up to.
Yeah,
so
up to.
It gives you at least the option.
So it's cool to see that they're getting the 8 players, but I'm freaking excited to see that Labyrinth.
I'm real curious about the Labyrinth. The movie goes old school.
Yeah, you like David Bowie, right?
Yeah,
You're a big David Bowie was
fan.
The shit. So it's like that was
whole
the first thing you said when we heard this. You're like, ooh, David Bowie.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, David Bowie was one of the stars of that movie.
Yeah, and I didn't.
For its time, it was a great movie. By today's standards, it's garbage.
Well, here's the thing: you caught me with that because I didn't watch Labyrinth growing up. You know, this is definitely much more of a. What year did this come out?
Like what, 20?
So this probably came out like
what year? 90s?
I don't even know.
89 or 90?
I feel like the 80s just sounds right.
It's got the 80s vibe.
I never watched it, so like you're like David Bowie was in it, and I was like, oh shit, really? And I googled it, and I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I just missed the mark on it, but it's cool to see that they're going the route of these big IPs. You know, it's like imagine a Star Wars course like on the Millennium Falcon.
How much you bet they're already working on it?
Yeah, or a Star Trek course, or a Harry Potter
Walkabout
course.
doesn't play.
A course in Hogwarts. It's like, man, there's so if they want to go this route,
the license route, yeah.
Fuck, there's endless potential.
Yeah.
And like, you know what,
now you're in with like movie studios and shit. So yeah, you do anything.
Walkabout goes deep with small details. It's like Sweetopia had some like dead employees hidden in some areas. And then when I was playing El Dorado yesterday, they went and showed me where the hidden stash of gold is. Because it's El Dorado.
Yeah.
And it's way off in the distance. You go underneath some water. You want to find El Dorado? It's way off in the distance in some water. Have fun. Like, that's not going to, you're not going to find shit off of that.
I didn't know what the spoiler ratio was.
Yeah, no, you're going to look in the distance and find some water, and somewhere in that water, you're going to find some gold. Have fun.
Cool.
But nonetheless, like, they go deep into, like, those little details. So Labyrinth or any IP, it's like, you know they're going to pimp out the decals on that.
Oh, cool.
I'm excited. So, that's coming, 8-player. You know what else is coming the same day on July 28th? Zero Caliber's dropping some PvP.
That'll be interesting.
You know, that was one of the few shooters that had a co-op mode, like a co-op campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Zero Caliber a lot, actually. It's actually a lot of fun. But PvP, I'm curious if it's going to be like solos PvP. Is it going to be like we can work together? But I definitely got to pop in and enjoy that.
I'm intrigued, and I'll take my ass whooping accordingly.
Well, I think the lack of PvP is probably the only thing that kept them away from being in the same discussion of shooters as some of the other ones like Contractors and Pavlov and things like that.
But they had the co-op feature that others didn't have.
And a good campaign.
Yep. So they held their own with. So if they can bring a good PvP,
it's gonna be
I'm
good.
curious if it'll just be all free for all, or is it going to be set teams? What's it going to be?
You know my opinions. If it's free for all, I'm not going to get the most enjoyment out of it. If me and you can work together, I'm going to have a blast.
No, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Real curious.
But July's closing up pretty strong with both Walkabouts, Labyrinth course, and
that one I'm probably the most excited for right now.
Which one though?
The Labyrinth course.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Definitely the first time we play it, we got to go in, just me and you, find all the balls, spend all that time. But I really want to try an 8-person game in there.
I think we can do it.
It's going to be fun.
It'll be a fun night, that's for sure.
But then I'm definitely going to, I got to check out this PvP update. I just got to know how it's going to work. I got to know how it's going to play, how it's going to run. And I just like to support Zero Caliber. You know, that's underrated developers in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then I'll end with this one. So let me skip ahead real quick. But, you know, we talked about it last time we did one of these news episodes that Demio was coming out with their 2-player mode where each player can control 2 pieces, and it's officially released.
Yay.
Woo! So that's pretty cool. You know, last time when the newest book came out, we had thought that the 2-player mode came with it.
Yeah, we're idiots.
So we went to go in, we're like, how do we do the 2-player mode?
You don't. You wait
not
for it
out
to
yet.
come out.
Yep, be patient. So if you're like us and you got all excited at the last update, you've just been dying for it, you know. 2-player mode. It was pretty funny. I'm excited though. You know, 2 players, 4 pieces. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So this last one, because it's just silliness. Of all the, you know, it's funny what breaks into the mainstream. Like you look at like some of the most profitable things on the Quest store in terms of funding and stuff like that. It's like Rec Room and VR chat and fire up, like my phone. I'm looking at the news, and what do I see the other day? HBO is making a VR chat documentary filmed all in VR chat.
Mm-hmm. Have fun with that.
It's very interesting that I got so many questions to the way this is going to work because I don't fully understand. Like, okay, a lot of VR chat avatars, and it's completely kosher when you're just playing the game, but like they're existing licensed things that people are using. I'm curious if they're just going to be very smart with the characters and the locations they use and the way that they controlled it, I guess, to say stop some of the random non-HBO friendly moments that might pop up. I'm curious how this all went down. Like, how long has this been in filming? How did they film it?
How are they going to make this entertaining?
What's the storylines? Is this going to be good or bad for the world of VR?
So it's just a documentary about VR chat in VR chat?
Yes.
Hey, they got money to burn. They can burn all they want. I'm
just curious how it's going to go down. I got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I'm curious if it's going to be good or bad for the industry.
I think it's good. I mean, the way it sounds to me, it's a comedy. Like, I mean, I don't know what you're trying to get out of it.
I just have a lot of questions.
You don't know who the people are on the other side of those avatars.
How did this come to be?
That'd be like having a documentary about AOL Messenger in Messenger. Send.
Yeah, I'm curious how visually user-friendly. I saw them posting a trailer. Weird. They posted a trailer, and in the trailer, I saw one of the characters' arms clipping through the table. And I'm like, how is this going to really go through with the public?
I'm just like, what's the point? And how much of the public
would
even see a preview for this and be like, yeah, I'm watching 2 hours of this?
Yeah, and I'm not hating on VR chat at all. I even said it right in the beginning. VR chat is one of the
I'm
most
just trying to
profitable.
understand just like something has to be visually appealing to watch it, right? Whether it be a documentary or cartoon or anything.
I like when I'm wrong. Like, hey, why would VR...
Best documentary ever.
Hey, why would mini golf in VR be good?
Well,
and then you play it and you understand.
Because mini golf is good.
I'm hoping that...
I'll say no more.
I'm hoping that I watch it and I go, all right, they're on to something, but I'm a little curious how this is all going to go.
It's going to depend on whatever spin they want to put on it, and it can be as positive as they want, or they can find the most toxic human being that money cannot pay for, and they can...
what's the compensation that these people...
Yeah, it's like, so I mean, they'll find and create they'll find, I didn't mean to say create, I'm sure they would never do that.
Yeah, they would definitely keep
the
it
personalities
all 100% organic.
Exactly, and make this documentary a very touching moment.
It was all organic with no scripting.
Doesn't make sense to me, but...
No, I have so many questions. I have so many questions logistically. I have so many questions...
I'm in my head, I'm like trying to think of ways like, okay, someone came to me and they're like, we want you to do a documentary on, VR chat, but
Skyrim.
We're going to have it all be done inside the world of VR chat. I'd be like, it's probably not going to, it doesn't sound and feel very entertaining.
Skyrim's one of my favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
They said, here's a documentary coming that's filmed inside Skyrim.
Yeah.
Wouldn't exactly be all about it.
Well, yeah, they made a documentary inside Pop One. I'd be like, what's the fucking point? I can go in Pop One myself. Watch my own documentary in Pop One.
Which, VR chat's a social platform. It's, apples and oranges. I get that. But, I just have a lot of questions. And I'm just like, my main thing is this going to be good or bad? For the not in terms of how's the product going to be.
It depends if they want to.
Is how's it going to be just for
the world of VR?
VR, yeah.
I mean, again, as seeing nothing and only hearing that this is going to take place and this is the concept, to me, it's just funny news. It's like, that's funny. I can't take it too serious because it's like...
I got a lot of questions.
It's like you're really reaching deep if that's the realm you have to go to dig up dirt on VR. It's like, I'm going to go into shady chat programs.
I don't think they're doing it in like a dig up dirt way.
Okay. Well, even in a positive... Hey, this is how great VR is. okay. I still just don't see the allure.
You know what would be a great documentary? This would be a fucking amazing documentary. I would love a documentary that follows a game design, like a studio on like making a game from start to finish. I would go crazy about that. See, that's a great VR documentary.
2-year documentary.
And it would be amazing to watch the process from concept to the struggles.
Maybe that's what this is.
To crunch time. It's not.
I know. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to find a way.
Mm-hmm. Because that's captivating.
To make this like something that you'd want to see, both good or bad.
Well, we could be in the minority. There could be everybody who's listening to this right now could be like, you guys don't get it. And that's
what?
I don't know.
The world of VR chat?
Or just like why this is going to work.
That's great. Glad to meet you.
Maybe we just don't get it.
Know. I think that's probably part of the problem.
Yeah.
But hey, we're gonna find out because they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it, and I got to peek. I got to know.
Yeah, I'd like to know compensation. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm gonna feel really bad if they just took advantage of some people just using like, hey, you want to be on this, and like there was no compensation.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not presented in.
Can
the
you
most
lower your voice
way.
a little for our TV thing because you sound a little young? Okay.
I'm curious. I got so many questions. And there's ways that it could be spun good, and there's ways it could be spun bad. There's ways that they could have
be spun bad. I spend all my time in VR chat.
Mm-hmm. Consumes my life.
It's all I do every day, all day.
Yeah, it could be. This could be.
I don't leave the house.
When they're all said and done, this could be like a VR hit piece.
I don't even order Amazon unless I can do it in VR chat. I eat VR food, but I'm losing weight by the minute.
Maybe I'm paranoid.
I really don't think anybody's in that deep.
If
your headset would die.
If our podcast was about, example, World of Warcraft, and I saw a documentary coming out about, filmed entirely in World of Warcraft about the players in World of Warcraft, I'd be like, oh, this is probably not going to put the most positive spin or probably not going to make our industry look the best, our niche look the best. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but that's kind of how I feel.
That's usually how it plays out. They usually will try to find the best of the best. Wink.
When I heard of this, I went, I don't think that this is going to be positive for VR.
If it's not, it's going to be comedic gold.
And I don't think that the people who are making it are interested in making it positive for VR. If anything, they might be interested in going the opposite way.
I'll need more of a plot than they're doing a documentary about VR in VR chat. Because that's pretty big.
Let's see. Let's meet the characters. Meet the cast.
Who knows?
This is XX Valerie XXYC.
This is Billy Bob 69.
Billy Bob. My name's Godzilla 4127.
Yeah, I mean it's just we'll see. Who knows? I'll take it not serious.
And I'm not hating on VR chat at all.
I'm just looking at the concept of
that's why
what you've explained to me.
Mm-hmm.
And my reaction to it is right now it's just comedic gold.
Yeah, well, that's why I use a World of Warcraft now.
Until it gets serious, and I need to be serious.
If we were talking about World of Warcraft in our podcast or whatever, like a documentary coming out with it, probably wouldn't spin it and then about the average player's playtime, blah blah blah. It probably wouldn't be a positive spin, and that's not hating on the game. It's just like I don't trust directors and stuff like that.
Even if they tried to shit on it at the end of the, all jokes aside, it's like, if someone is just not designed to have good social skills to want to interact with real people, but for some reason they can put a headset on and do it in the virtual reality world, and maybe it's because they can body design themselves the way they want or they can behave the way they want, then they're still interacting with people they never would have outside their little self-built world that they're scared to leave. So it's like, I'm hoping it's more of like truthfully that kind of spin of like,
yes, and I could see a very positive way going.
I have people issues. I'm agoraphobic, whatever, but I can travel the world now. I can have real conversations with real people, just like me, who I never could before.
Today we're highlighting the world traveling aspect. Today we're highlighting on this episode, like I know that there's a big comedy scene in these VR social platforms, which I think is huge. There's a lot of people who they actually use this as like, before I start going to open mics in real life.
Yeah, beta test.
Let me get a little bit comfortable because, as you said, social anxiety, or maybe they never even mean for it to go that point, but, they've always wanted to go on stage.
Have fun. Yeah.
And this allows them to. There's big VR stand-up communities in there. If an episode was focused on that, and then the next episode was, like you said, somebody who wants to be a world traveler, and they get to do that. And the next episode focuses on...
Yeah, so, I mean, there is a positive way they could spin
it. It's just, am I confident that
No, but how much negative is there with it at all? None. Little.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so minor and insignificant, so it's like they could put the most hardcore.
Well, I think what you said is perfect. That if they tried to put negative spin on it, it would just be comedic gold.
It's comedic gold. It's already kind of funny until I see more of a plot. But let's be honest, they can't say people are spending hours in VR. Did you type that article on your fucking phone? You know, so it's like that argument with video games or anything.
Headset with 2-hour battery max
is out the window. The minute, the smartphone was invented and we've all become fat, just it's an extension of our freaking palm.
It's entertainment crack.
Yeah. So it's like, what are you going to say about VR? I don't know. People get molested. I don't know.
Yeah. People find niche communities that they vibe in. Like, what's the negative spin going to be? I agree.
So it's funny.
Yeah.
Right now it's funny.
A lot of questions.
But if they do bring more of this spin that I kind of was talking about with the serious note of it, then it would be cool. Yeah, because it would show the real positive sign and the therapeutic benefits to some people as well.
Yes, I think you hit the nail on the head there. If that's how they go with this, then...
And that's why we're not doing documentaries, because we're not going to look at the shitty side of it,
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a lot of good news.
And look, that's not all the news that happened since last time we did one of these. This is just like
cherry pick news.
And this is like all stuff within the last week too. I don't think we've done one of these news episodes in like a month or two.
We do what the major networks do. We just cherry picked what we thought was important and we'll leave out the other stuff.
Yes. But hey, I'll say it all the time. If you ever got any input, any suggestions you want to give, if you think that maybe we should have talked about a story, you want us to review a game, you just want to say hi.
Yeah. Just let us know.
Just go join our official subreddit, go join our official Discord. You can find the links in our show notes and let us know. I mean, we're pretty communicative. Like I said, we played a nice game of Walkabout.
No,
I got smoked.
I unfortunately could not.
Yeah. One of the very few belly upset days.
Yeah, weird. I had like a stomach bug, and then it coincided with...
Playing in VR, but you thought it might have been VR related?
I thought it was all VR related, and I freaked out, and I sent you a message right away.
You think I'm VR broken?
I'm VR broken, dude. And I said, I think I'm VR broken.
I was like, I think it was just the game.
No more VR, no more podcasts. I'm like, what am I going to do?
And then
this sucks.
Ended up not even being the game.
Nah.
Then you played it the next morning and you felt fine.
Felt great.
It was probably like, I bet you were teetering on feeling nauseous with like stomach issues.
Yeah.
And then that little bit set you over.
And then the psychology, because I'm in VR and I'm like, it's got to be the VR. It can't be anything but the VR. I'm sure if I was getting like the flu when I was in VR, I would probably blame it on VR.
Yeah.
Until like 3 days later, it'd be like, that's weird.
Yeah.
I got this terrible cough.
It was just, dude, I was pissing myself laughing when I got a message saying I'm VR broken.
Well, I freaked out, man. I was like, what the hell?
Well,
never really happened,
I think it happened to you the day you got your Quest.
Yeah, the day I bought my Quest.
Because you did Epic Roller Coaster.
The free Epic Roller Coaster
And it kicked your ass.
Yeah, but I love this part of it. I didn't just do it. I did it like 3 or 4 times.
And felt it and kept doing it.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, wow, I feel pretty nauseous. Let me do it again. I'll do this track. Oh, I feel even worse. Okay, let me do this one.
The way to get used to VR, and like if you're suffering with VR sickness, it's not to just push through it and gain a tolerance in one session.
No.
You feel it. Stop. Next session, you feel it. Stop. And just eventually it just won't happen anymore.
But yeah, I had no problem.
But if you push through that, it gets miserable.
I thought... if I didn't take my headset off, I was going to faint. And I'm like, could you imagine fainting in VR?
Well, remember one time you fell asleep? We were playing, I forget what game it was. I don't even remember.
Oh, my God.
It might have been something puzzly or something like that.
I remember.
And you fell asleep for 5 minutes. And I hear, because we're party chatting, I hear you go, dude, I just woke up.
I thought you heard me snoring.
And you're like, dude, I just woke up and I'm in VR. And you're like, it's so trippy right now.
Yeah, because it was one of those
like 5 minute sleeps, like you just
easily. It might have even been longer.
We were playing like 1 a.m. or something like that.
It was enough that I wasn't snoring, but my breathing woke me up. And since we were in party chat, I remember the first thing I thought of was you had to have heard me breathing. There's no way you didn't hear me breathing.
Just you being like, I woke up in VR and it's trippy. I was
open my eyes and it's like all colorful and weird going on. I was like, holy shit.
Dude,
yeah.
I'll never forget that one time I was on Reddit and somebody was talking about that they've been sleeping with their headset on recently, with it on, but they're not dreaming anymore. Like, what's going on? And it's like, bro, I'll tell you what's going on. You're sleeping with the fucking headset on.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
There's weird lights being shined on your eyes.
You're not supposed to do that. Dog, your life is a dream right now. Can you imagine sleeping with that shit on and then taking it off in the morning? You're basically putting on a headset at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is real? Like, fuck that. Like, what are you doing, homie?
Maybe when we open our eyes, we've turned on our
Well, that's
headsets.
the thing. You start to, I don't think you should be sleeping in VR.
No.
And are you sleeping? Yeah, no shit. You're not dreaming. You're not asleep.
No, I get weirded out by weird shit. I was telling you today, I'm like, and I've thought it before, but it just never affected me. And then all of a sudden I'm like, so I'm in VR. We're talking like multi-platform games that exist. It's like somebody could be on their cell phone.
Or their console.
And then someone else could be on an Xbox. And someone else is in VR. But you're actually in it. It's like somebody's looking on a little...
You're seeing your
little
avatar.
Screen or whatever and seeing your character run around and shit. But in your world, it's, it's full scale. It's legit to size.
Honestly, that's what makes multiplayer VR so cool. Is because like
it's crazy, man.
If we're doing a co-op game flat screen on console or something like that, and we bump into each other's avatars,
they're just avatars,
and it. Like some MMOs will even have like wave emoji and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's
dance.
It's a little, it's silly for once, but it's in the end, it's disconnecting.
Yeah.
But when it's in VR, that's each other's. To be silly, sometimes we'll give each other knuckle up, high five. We'll be like, "Yo, have a good night." We'll give each other a hug, and guess what? It's weird because it's like that's another person. It's different.
Oh,
it's different on a totally different way than flat screen avatars could ever be, and it's like. It's easy for, you use VR enough, you get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you really stop and think about it. It's like, dude, that's not just an avatar. That's like physically somebody else.
That's a human being. No, it really was trippy to know that. I think it was when my brain went to someone's on a cell phone playing one of these games against people who are actually in VR. I'm like, this is just nuts. This is getting like way out of hand. Just the levels of shit. Then you start going deeper and going, well, what about the whole theory about
simulation theory?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's like it just starts
That's
adding
why I'm not
credibility.
sleeping in VR. That's why I'm like that.
The smallest little game tablet or phone can still play a game.
Well, when I get tripped out is when there's been a lot of VR games recently that do this, that have like an old school game inside of it on like an arcade machine.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, right now all the game can handle, because of processing of the hardware and stuff, is like a simple game like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one day in VR, you're going to turn on, there's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, like a PS2 game. It's going to get more and more sophisticated, what's being able to be emulated in there. That's basically what happened in real life. Like, not in, like, it
I got you.
Started with that, and then 10 years later, we had this graphics, and it's like following... inside, like, I don't know, digital games inside digital games starts to go down a bad rabbit hole.
It's really creepy.
Eventually
that whole like vibe hit me of like,
eventually there's gonna be one game that you put on a headset and play an arcade game where you control a character who goes and plays a game that you're controlling.
Well, you're just adding fuel to the simulation.
Layers,
the simulation theory.
But nonetheless,
No, that was cool.
VR world never stops. I won't do the podcast award bagging today because we got that on Wednesday. But if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, join those Discord and subreddits.
Come hang out, play
Come
games.
hang out. We do giveaways. We talk.
There's always something happening.
We don't got cookies, but we'll say hi. So. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this episode and check out Wednesday with Twilight Zone VR. I know you were hyped for this. One of your favorite shows growing up, right?
Yeah, even though they were black and white reruns, I'll still watch them to this day.
The black and white, I think, is part of the appeal for that series.
For the feelings they were able to invoke with what was really fantastic writing, with every week was
something
different Hollywood actress in there too, so
not repeat storylines,
probably begging to be on it. Different thing, but that same weird creepy vibe at the end of each one.
I'm excited to drop this review Wednesday, so
Twilight Zone.
So stay tuned for that and check us out.